The first thing the triplets noticed was that the woman was crying. Not the quiet kind of crying people try to hide, the kind that escapes anyway. The kind that trembles through your shoulders and makes your hands shake when you lift a glass of water. Emma, Ethan, and Ellie Carter froze in the doorway of the small restaurant booth, their wide eyes moving from the woman's tear-streaked face to their father sitting awkwardly across from her. Daniel Carter suddenly wished the ground would open and swallow him whole. "This," he muttered under his breath, "is going terribly. It was supposed to be simple. One dinner, one normal evening, one chance to remember what life used to feel like before everything fell apart." But normal had never really returned to Daniel Carter's life. Not since 3 years ago. Not since the night he became a single father to 3 6-year-olds who looked at him like he was the only solid thing left in their world. And tonight was the first time he had dared to step outside that responsibility. "Dad?" Ethan whispered. Daniel turned. All 3 children stood there in their matching blue jackets, staring at the woman across from him. The woman quickly wiped her tears. "Oh my goodness," she said softly, embarrassed. "I didn't realize you brought your kids." Daniel stood up so fast he nearly knocked the table. "I'm so sorry," he said. "They weren't supposed to be here. The babysitter." "She cancelled," Ellie finished helpfully. Emma added, "Dad didn't want to cancel the date." Daniel closed his eyes. The truth always came out of children like water from a cracked glass. The woman across from him blinked in surprise. Then something unexpected happened. She laughed. Not a cruel laugh. A warm, surprised laugh that made her shoulders relax. "Well," she said gently, "that explains the panic on your face." Daniel rubbed the back of his neck. "I swear this isn't how I usually do things." Ethan looked at the woman. "Why are you crying?" Daniel nearly choked. "Ethan!" But the woman held up a hand. "It's okay," she said quietly. She looked at the 3 children again. There was something soft in her expression now, something careful. "My date," she said slowly, "stood me up." Daniel blinked. "What?" She nodded. "He texted 10 minutes ago. Said something came up. Apparently something meant cancelling dinner after I was already here." Ellie frowned. "That's rude," Emma added seriously. "Very rude." The woman laughed again. "You're absolutely right." Daniel suddenly felt terrible. "Look," he said, reaching for his wallet, "let me at least pay for your dinner. I mean, you're sitting here because I accidentally invaded your booth." She waved the idea away. "I ordered coffee." Ethan climbed into the empty seat beside his father. "So, this isn't a date anymore?" The woman tilted her head. "I suppose not." Ellie climbed into the other side. Emma slid in last. Daniel sighed. "Well," he said, "I guess we're all here now." The waitress came over, looking confused at the suddenly crowded booth. Daniel ordered 3 grilled cheese sandwiches and fries. The woman ordered nothing else. For a few minutes they sat in awkward silence. Then Ethan asked, "What's your name?" The woman hesitated. "Rachel," she said. "Rachel what?" Emma asked. Daniel quickly interrupted. "You don't have to answer that." Rachel smiled faintly. "Rachel Bennett." None of the children reacted. But the waitress, who had been refilling water glasses nearby, suddenly dropped a fork. "You mean the Rachel Bennett?" Rachel sighed. "Yes." The waitress stared. "CEO Rachel Bennett?" Daniel froze. "You're kidding." Rachel Bennett, founder of Bennett Technologies. The woman who built a billion-dollar software company from a laptop in a college dorm. The woman on magazine covers. The woman everyone in the country seemed to admire. And she was sitting in a quiet booth crying over a cancelled date. Ellie tilted her head. "Are you famous?" Rachel smiled. "Only at work." Emma studied her carefully. "If you're famous, why are you sad?" The question hung in the air. Rachel looked down at her hands. "Because," she said softly, "being successful doesn't always mean you're happy." Daniel watched her closely. There was something fragile in her voice, something deeper than a cancelled dinner. The kids didn't notice. Kids rarely did. They only saw what was right in front of them. Their sandwiches arrived. The triplets began eating happily. Fries disappeared quickly. Ketchup smeared across cheeks. For a moment the restaurant filled with small laughter and normal noise. Rachel watched them. really watched them. "You're doing this alone?" she asked Daniel quietly. He nodded. "Since my wife passed away." Rachel's expression softened immediately. "I'm sorry." Daniel shrugged gently. "Life doesn't always follow the plan." Rachel looked back at the children. "They seem wonderful." "They are," Daniel said. "And exhausting." Rachel smiled. "I believe it." Ellie suddenly slid one of her fries onto Rachel's plate. Rachel blinked. "What's this for?" Ellie said very seriously. "You looked sad." Rachel stared at the fry like it was the most precious thing in the world. "Thank you." Ethan added another fry. "For extra sadness." Emma placed half her grilled cheese beside it. "Because that guy who cancelled your date sounds like a jerk." Rachel burst out laughing. Real laughter this time, the kind that fills a room. Daniel shook his head. "You've officially been adopted by the Carter Hospitality Committee." Rachel wiped a tear from her eye. "You have no idea how much I needed this." They talked for almost an hour. About school, about soccer games, about Daniel's job as a mechanic, about how Ethan once tried to microwave a spoon to see what would happen. Rachel laughed more than she had in months. Eventually, Emma asked the question, "Why did that man cancel your date?" Rachel hesitated. Then she said something very honest. "Because he found out who I am." Daniel frowned. "That makes no sense." Rachel sighed. "It does if people are intimidated." "By money?" Ethan asked. Rachel nodded. "Sometimes." Ellie looked confused. "Money can't hug you." The table went quiet. Rachel swallowed hard. "No," she said softly. "It can't." Emma studied Rachel's face carefully. "Are you lonely?" Rachel didn't answer right away. Finally she whispered, "Yes." The word felt heavy. Daniel shifted uncomfortably. He suddenly understood something. Rachel Bennett wasn't crying over a date. She was crying because success had built walls around her life. Walls most people never saw. Ellie leaned across the table. "You can come to dinner with us." Daniel blinked. "Ellie." "What?" she said innocently. Rachel smiled gently. "That's very sweet." Emma nodded firmly. "We have spaghetti on Tuesdays," Ethan added, "and sometimes pancakes for dinner." Rachel looked like she might cry again. But this time it wasn't sadness. "You know," she said quietly, "I think I'd like that." Daniel chuckled. "Well, if a CEO wants spaghetti with 3 chaotic kids, I guess we can arrange that." Rachel looked at him. For the first time that night, their eyes held. Something shifted. Something warm. But the moment broke when Ethan suddenly asked another question. "Why were you really crying?" Daniel groaned. "Ethan!" But Rachel lifted a hand again. "No, it's okay." She looked at the 3 children. Then she said the words that would break all their hearts. "I was crying because today was the anniversary of my daughter's death." The booth fell silent. Even the clinking dishes in the restaurant seemed far away. Emma whispered, "You had a daughter?" Rachel nodded slowly. "Her name was Lily." Ellie's voice trembled. "Where is she now?" Rachel took a deep breath. "She died from cancer 5 years ago." Ethan's eyes filled with tears instantly. "But you're rich," he said helplessly. Rachel gave a sad smile. "I know." Emma whispered, "Couldn't doctors fix it?" Rachel shook her head. "We tried everything." Daniel felt his chest tighten. Rachel continued quietly. "After she died, I buried myself in work. Built the company bigger and bigger. I told myself success would make the pain go away." She looked around the booth. "But tonight I realized something." "What?" Ellie asked softly. Rachel reached across the table and squeezed Ellie's hand. "Success doesn't replace love." Emma wiped her eyes. "That's really sad." Rachel nodded. "It is." Then Ethan said something that changed everything. "You can share ours." Rachel blinked. "What?" "Our love," Ethan said simply. Ellie nodded eagerly. "We have extra." Emma added, "Dad says love multiplies." Daniel stared at his children. Rachel covered her mouth, tears streaming again. But now the entire table was crying. Even Daniel. Rachel finally laughed through the tears. "You 3 might be the kindest humans I've ever met." Ellie shrugged. "Kindness is free." Rachel whispered, "Yes, it is." They sat together a long time after that. No one rushed to leave. Sometimes the most important moments in life happen in quiet restaurant booths with people who were strangers an hour earlier. Eventually, Daniel stood. "We should get home. School tomorrow." Rachel nodded, but before they left, she knelt beside the triplets. "Thank you," she said softly. "For what?" Emma asked. "For reminding me that the world still has beautiful hearts in it." Ethan hugged her suddenly. Rachel froze. Then she hugged him back. Ellie and Emma joined. Rachel held them tightly, like someone holding on to light. When they finally stepped outside into the cool night air, Rachel turned to Daniel. "Can I really come for Spaghetti Tuesday?" Daniel smiled. "You better." Rachel laughed. "I'll bring dessert." "Deal." As she walked to her car, Rachel Bennett realized something remarkable. For the first time in 5 years, she didn't feel alone. And inside the Carter home that Tuesday night, 4 chairs became 5. Because sometimes the people who heal our hearts aren't the ones we search for. They're the ones we meet by accident, in a small booth, over fries, on a night when someone needed kindness more than anything else in the world.